Good morning, everyone. Today we will start with Chapter 2, Molecules. First, as a definition, a molecule is an electrically neutral entity that consists of limited number of atoms linked by covalent bonds. Okay, a molecule is a group of atoms. They are linked together by covalent bonds. We know that we have two types of bonds, covalent and ionic. Ionic, it occurs in the compounds, while covalent bonds in molecules. A molecule can be classified into two different types according to the number of atoms. The first is diatomic, formed of two atoms like H2 or CO. It means that the number is 2. While polyatomic, formed of more than two atoms, example NH3, it is composed here of 4 atoms, 3 hydrogen and 1 nitrogen. So molecules are diatomic if they are formed of two atoms, or polyatomic if they are formed of more than two atoms. With respect to the kind of atom, molecules are classified into two types, element and compound. Element is formed of the same atoms. Example H2, N2O3, it means the same type of atom. While compound is formed of different atoms. For example, CH4, H2O, it means we have different types of atoms in the compound. Now, Lewis dot symbol. It is the representation of atoms surrounded by dots, one dot for each valence electron. What do we mean by valence electron? It is the number of electrons on the outer shell, or it is called valence shell. So the Lewis dot symbol represents the atoms with dots around it. The dots represent the valence electron, and the valence electron is the number of electrons on the outer energy level. Note, valency or valence is the number of electrons gained, lost, or shared to saturate the outer shell. It means valency or valence is how much electrons the atom needs to be saturated or to fulfill the octet rule or the duet rule. Octet means 8 and duet means 2. You'll understand this in the example. Mg12, Z equal 12, or atomic number equal 12. It has the electron configuration K2L8M2. 2 plus 8 plus 2 gives 12, because in a neutral atom, number of electrons equal number of protons. So these are 12 electrons. This is the outer energy level, M. It has 2 electrons, so valence electron is 2, because it is the number of electrons on the outer energy level. And valency, we mean the number of electrons that Mg can lose or gain or share in order to become saturated. Here Mg has 2 on the outer energy level. It loses 2 electrons to become saturated, to become with 8. It means the Mg becomes Mg2 plus, it loses 2 electrons. Thus 2 is the valency. It must lose 2 electrons to become saturated. The Lewis dot symbol represents Mg with the valence electrons represented by dots. We have 2 as a valence electron, so we put 2 dots, and always write the dots, start from here and continue in this direction. Okay, N7, it has Z equals 7, K2L5. The valence electron is 5 because it is on the outer energy level. We have 5. Valency, here L has 5. To become saturated, it should be 8. So the N should gain 3 electrons. It will become N3 minus. It will gain 3 electrons to become here 8. So valency is 3. Then we write Lewis dot symbol. We have 5 valence electrons, so we should put 5 dots. We start from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5. So this should be put as dash, these two. This is a paired electron, or an electron pair. We should put it as dash, and the single put as dots. Okay, we call this a lone pair. It is a dash, and here the single electrons, these are unpaired electrons. Now we will talk about covalent bond. Covalent bond, we said it is the bond formed between atoms in a molecule. It is formed when two atoms share two unpaired or single electrons. It means that the unpaired electrons participate in covalent bond. We have first single covalent bond, we have double and triple. Starting with single, when two atoms are linked by one bonding pair, we have a single covalent bond. For example, in this H2 molecule, we have a bond between two hydrogen atoms. We know that hydrogen has the Lewis dot symbol as following. It has one dot only because one valence electron is present. Thus, each unpaired electron forms a bond with the other one in hydrogen atom. We have one bonding pair. Double covalent bond, when two atoms are linked by two bonding pairs. It means we have two bonds. It is called a double covalent bond. In this O2 molecule, oxygen has the following Lewis dot symbol. It has 6 on valence electrons, 6 electrons. We have 2 dashes and 2 dots. We do not look at the dashes or lone pairs, we look at the unpaired electrons. So oxygen has 2 unpaired electrons. So it can make 2 bonds with other oxygen atom. The 2 unpaired electrons here of this oxygen form 2 bonds with the 2 unpaired electrons of the second oxygen. Thus a double covalent bond is formed. The third type of covalent bond is the triple covalent bond. It is when two atoms are linked by 3 bonding pairs. For example, in this N2 molecule, we have 2 nitrogen atoms. Nitrogen has the following Lewis dot symbol. It has 5 valence electrons. Thus, we put 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, it has a dash or lone pair and 3 unpaired electrons. So, it can form 3 bonding pairs. The 3 unpaired electrons of this nitrogen form 3 bonds with these 3 unpaired electrons of this nitrogen atom. Thus, a triple covalent bond is formed. Now, Lewis structure of a molecule, it shows the nature of bonds between the atoms of a molecule. When we write the two atoms and between them the bonds, this is called a Lewis structure. For example, this N2 molecule represented as following is a Lewis structure. Also, example H2O, we have O having the following Lewis dot symbol. It has 2 unpaired electrons and hydrogen has 1 unpaired electron. Thus, oxygen can form 2 bonds, a single bond with each hydrogen. This is a single covalent bond, not double. Okay, oxygen atom forms a single covalent bond with hydrogen and single covalent bond with another hydrogen. We put them in this structure because H2O makes this angle, okay, and not straight. But in general, for other atoms, we write, or other molecules, we write them straight. For example, as this one and 3, we write 3 straight bonds between them. And here for H2O, we have 2 bonds because oxygen has 2 unpaired electrons and each hydrogen has 1 unpaired electron. And the 2 lone pairs on oxygen are written. Every lone pair should be written on the atom as in the structure, in the Lewis structural model. Now we will talk about a new idea, which is polarity. What do we mean by polarity? Polarity means a polar bond or a non-polar bond. When different atoms are covalently bonded, the bond is polar. It means there is dissymmetry. As in this example, H and Cl. This is a single covalent bond. H has delta plus, or it means it has the tendency to lose one electron. And Cl has delta minus, it means it has the tendency to gain 1 electron. And they share a pair of electrons, we have a single covalent bond. So when we have different atoms, there is dissymmetry, H and Cl, we call the bond polar. It means we have a polarity. But when the bond is between the same atoms, it is non-polar. For example, H bond H. They are equally attracted, we have a symmetry, thus the bond is non-polar and it is also a single covalent bond. So between different atoms it is called polar and between the same atoms it is called non-polar. polar.